The Python SMG is a really fun gun to play with, whether you're in your favourite farming spot hitting trash mobs and killing the elite, or maybe you're playing on a different level and you're up against the wall, you've got enemies attacking you, your HP is low and you need to shred that elite nice and quickly. Or maybe even you're fighting a boss and you want to smash its shoulder piece to pieces so you can take it out. The Python is the gun. Let's build it. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Worthy Prince coming at you with another First Descendant video, and in today's video I'm going to be talking to you about the Python SMG. This gun absolutely slaps and it makes a really nice change from using the Thunder Cage. Now the Thunder Cage is amazing, I love it, but it's more of a mobbing gun. It's for clearing out packs of mobs really quickly and efficiently. Now the Python, don't get me wrong, can absolutely shred big packs of mobs, but what it really does well is single target damage. So if you're going after a big elite or a boss, then this gun is really going to pack a punch. If we take a look at the special ability on this gun, it really is special indeed. You can see that by maxing this out, which took probably, I would say, about 10 hours of farming for me, I didn't have the best of luck when I was doing it, so here's what it is. But I managed to get it done finally, and it completely removes the recoil that is added to the gun, so it shoots a lot straighter now, much more easier to control, especially for the controller players that might struggle with the recoil. Obviously with mouse and keyboard you might not notice it as much, but as a controller player I definitely noticed that recoil being taken off of here once I maxed this out. And then we take a look at the actual stats this thing comes with. Now you can see it stacks every time you're hitting an enemy, and it comes with toxin resistance and non-attribute resistance as a standard of -2 and -1, but it's going to be adding stacks of 3.6% and 1.3% toxin resistance and non-attribute resistance to make it so that the enemy is going to be receiving even more damage the more you're hitting them. Now this gun would work extremely well with a Descendant like Valby, who's going to be doing a lot of water attacks, which is non-attribute. You know, they're going to be taking even more damage from that kind of stuff if you're hitting them with this gun and then hitting them with a water attack straight after. They're going to be taking a lot more damage, which is really nice. Personally, I think this gun is very universal. I think you can use it on pretty much any Descendant. It'd also go pretty well with Freyna as well, because she's going to be doing some toxic attacks, which means, again, if you are putting them in toxin on the floor and then shooting them with this gun, that toxic is going to be doing even more damage. So there's just a few uses you can do with this, but like I said, you can use it with any Descendant and it will certainly slap. Okay, let's dive into the mods on this gun so you know how to do it and you can build it yourself. So jumping in, first of all, before we start, let's just talk about the actual gun itself. It comes with an extremely high fire rate, and you're going to go through the magazine really quick, and you want to build on that a little bit as well. But it also means we can use mods that maybe give us a debuff on fire rate slightly, because we've got so much of it, you know, we can afford to do so. The other thing I want to mention about this gun is do not build into critical hit rate or critical hit damage, because it starts off with a meager 5% critical hit rate. Therefore, the percentages you add are not really going to add too much, and it's really just not worth it. Indeed, what you should be doing is building into weak point damage, because the multiplier is extremely high on this gun to start with, and so weak point damage you apply is going to be giving you even more damage when you're hitting your enemies. Do bear in mind that DPS means absolutely nothing on this gun. Yes, 212,000 DPS, and it is the best Python build you can do. But only 212,000 DPS? Again, DPS is a lie, guys. There's so many things that go onto this build that don't even get applied to the DPS counter when you put the mod on, but when you hit the enemy, you are going to know about it. So check it out. We're going to start off with Toxic Gun Barrel, extra toxic attack, and we're going to be losing 25% fire rate, which is quite a lot to lose, but because we start off with so much, it's not really a big deal. This gun still fires extremely fast, and we want that toxic attack because we're going to be reducing their resistance to it. Firearm attack and recoil increase. Yeah, action and reaction is kind of needed here. Now, when you first put this mod in, you're going to notice straight away that there is quite a bit of recoil on the gun, because of course the special ability also has like a 20% plus recoil as well, so it makes it so that the gun does kind of go up a bit when you're shooting. So you might want to put this one in maybe like towards the end of the build, that way you're not too out of control with the recoil. Unless it doesn't really bother you too much, then go ahead and stick it in. Weak point damage speaks for itself. We want as much of this as possible, as well as have aiming. Weak point damage 40%, which is extremely nice. Now there is another one you can use, which I kind of was tinkering with before, which was the fire rate concentration, giving me an extra 20% fire rate. which I thought that might be the one to go for. But you can see here it comes with firearm critical hit damage, which again really isn't going to do much for us whatsoever. I switched it out for have aiming so I can have a much more bigger amount of weak point damage, and I noticed my damage on the enemies went up significantly after putting have aiming in. Then we've got rifling reinforcement, solid blue mod that I think most guns will have in. 32% firearm attack, it's really good. Fire up rate 25%, that's beautiful because that's going to cover us for the toxic gun barrel we're losing up here. So we definitely want to put this one in. We've got toxic enhancement for some extra toxic attack as well. Want to lay that toxic attack on the enemy as much as possible. And then we've got maximize weight balance, giving us extra rounds in the magazine because we've got all of this fast like fire rate. We want to make sure that we can get enough bullets out to really cause enough damage. It's quality of life as well. Rounds per magazine 30%, and we're going to build on that by also adding expand weapon charge, giving us another 49%. That way we have a nice big clip and we can really lay the smackdown on these enemies when we go for it. Now the gold one that I choose on this one is sharp precision shot, because you start off with a minus 20% fire rate, but as you start going through the clip, you're going to end up with more fire rate than you started with. Plus, you're going to end up with a huge amount of firearm attack as well towards the second half of the clip. So yeah, this is going to be really good. Loads and loads of damage for sharp precision shot. And that, ladies and gents, is your build for the Python SMG. So now we move on to how does the gun perform? Well, one of the things I got mentioned in my Thunder Cage video was that you guys were like, well, you only showed against those enemies. What about other enemies? Because different enemies have different resistances. You can see these guys are kind of resistant to poison because they're poison enemies from the swamp. So we're going to go ahead and do a test on all three different types of enemies so you can see the different amounts of damage they do. So we're going to start off with this guy here, a slaughterer. Let's go in and you can see the fire rate when I hold the trigger down. The clip just speeds up and goes extremely quick as we hit those weak spots. And I mean, as far as damage goes, on the weak spots, you're looking at around about full 51, 68,000 I saw there on a crit. But the actual yellow numbers is the weak spot you're looking at. And it's 51, 52,000 per bullet against enemies which are very resistant to poison. So let's go ahead and change this up to Order of Truth. And we'll see exactly how much damage we do here. We're going to go ahead and hit this predator right now, and straight away you can see the damage has jumped up. We're now getting close to 120,000 on the weak point hits here, which is extremely good. So the damage ramps up quite nicely. It starts off lower and you can see that damage ramping, and that's that gold mod we have in. And then we can go ahead and switch to the Legion of Darkness. And we'll see what these guys do. These guys are going to be all right. They're non-attribute resistant, so they might not do as much damage, of course, but let's just see what it does. Actually, it's pretty good. We're hitting around about 70,000, so not too bad at all. Not too bad at all. So 70,000 on these guys. Obviously, the ones before was the most damage, but overall, some really good damage output. The most important thing I like about this gun is how quickly you can get the bullets out of the gun, because when you're fighting a boss, time is of the essence, and you want to put as many bullets into that weak spot as you can. And this whole clip just empties so fast. Look at this. Wow, that's 56 bullets out in not long at all, but enough time for you to get the most out of that gold mod that we've got in there. So yeah, really good damage overall. Let's jump into a boss and see how we go against a boss. Now I'm going to pick Executioner here because he's very weak against poison, so we could obviously take any other boss we fight here, it might do quite as much damage because every boss has different resistances. But I'm going to jump in to Executioner and I'll show you how much damage this does on his weak spots. So we're going to fight Executioner now, and we're going to be hitting this weak point as much as I can, as much as my bad aim will let me. And we're going to see how much damage we can do. Already yellow here, and bang, his shoulder's already gone. That's actually rather good damage. And then we're going to go into the other shoulder piece now. We've got the ads coming in as well. Struggling to hit it. There we go, it's yellow. He's going to go down. We're going to go straight into that shoulder piece. Wow, 2 shoulder pieces off in the first phase. That's absolutely insane. Can we get all of his shield off before he goes immune? We can. And you can see the bullets are almost gone now. I've got 41 bullets left. We emptied out the entire gun before he got to his immune stage. And that's pretty good stuff. There you go. So we took his entire shield off. Two shoulder pads with the Python SMG before he even went immune. That's pretty good stuff. So there you go, guys. That's my Python SMG build. I hope you enjoyed the video. I think it's really good against bosses, really good against mobs. Overall, it's a lot of fun to play with and it sounds very good. It's very satisfying when you kill enemies with this. If you've got any advice on how I can make this build better, then please let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. More First Descendant content coming very, very soon, and I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe, everyone, and of course, peace out.